What is going down, people? So we have got Arthur the King for you. This is from Simon Ceylon Jones, written by Michael Brandt. The film is produced by Mark Wahlberg, Tucker Tooley, Tessa Tooley, Courtney Solomon, Stephen Levinson, and Mark Canton. It is executive produced by Dorothy Canton, Michael Brandt, Zev Foreman, Jen Gorton, Mikkel Lindnord, and Greg Renker. It is line produced by Patty Long and Ivan Reynoso. I feel that's how you pronounce it. Kevin Matley took care of the music. Jax Joffrek was on cinematography. Gary Roach edits the piece, while Sheila Jaff took care of the casting. Malera Santana is production design. Art direction, we have Giselle Madeira and Fernando Carrion. Maria Fernanda Sabogal is set decoration. Carol Ramsey, costume design, right? Hair, makeup, all of that jazz. We got Alan A. Apon, Jandara Avaron, Sarah Wada Bonetti, Cheryl, that was Sarah Quadapaletti, Cheryl Daniels, Andrea Di Vicazano, Louisiana Fernandez, Jeff Lewis, and Catherine Phelps. Our cast. Okay, so Mark Wahlberg is Michael. His wife, Helen, is played by Juliette Raylance. We got Leo, played by Simon Liu. Olivia, played by Natalie Emmanuel. Chick, played by Ali Solomon. There's Charlie, played by Paul Guilfoyle. Decker, played by Rob Collins. John, played by Alani Igua. Ruby. Yes, Ruby is Michael and Helen's daughter. She is played by Cici Valentina. Roger Wasserman is Santiago. Hugo is played by Oscar Best. Yeah, that's probably our main group, right? I would say. Bear Grylls is in there as well. So the gist is this: an adventure racer adopts a stray dog named Arthur to join him on an epic endurance race. Bum, bum, bum. Now, this is actually based on a 2016 book, Arthur, the dog who crossed the jungle to find a home. And here's the thing, right? It's actually based on a real story. These events did take place, which is it's interesting. Now, I heard about this film because, I covered Simon's last film, right? The Family Plan. And I remember in the screening of that, Arthur the King was mentioned, right? So, I was curious. I mean, like, are we going to do another press thing for that? No, we didn't. Or I didn't get invited anyway. But I ain't bitter, people. I ain't bitter. But no, I'm curious, right? Like, because I saw it's a man and a dog, and I'm like, why is Arthur the King? Because at first I was like, is this going to be another King Arthur adaptation? Right? But it's not. It's about a man and a dog. So it's like, oh, what is this? Now, See, when you look into the story, it is a little darker. It's a little darker than what we see. Um, and it's interesting because it's not an American, right? It was a Swedish team. And the guy isn't Mike Light, it's Mikael Lindnord. And also, the race didn't take place in Costa Rica. It, wait, no. Actually, I think it was the Dominican Republic. Yes, not the Dominican Republic. It took place in Ecuador. So it's just like, wait, what? Huh. The changes are a little odd. The changes are a little odd. I don't know. And I didn't really understand the name, right? Now, not to say Arthur's a bad name for a dog, you can call your dog whatever, but the whole, you're like a king. I'm gonna call you like I was just like, wait, why is the dog like a king? I don't even understand. Right? All of that rationale baffled me. But the film itself, right? You can look at this film and go, you know what I mean? What we're trying to get here is that feel good thing. Right? It's that kind of stuff. Like Taika Waititi had the next goal wins, right? We've had Cool Runnings. We've like all of these kind of films. It's that feel good element. You know what I mean? That unlikely companionship. That's what this is. Now, it's not bad, right? It's okay. I think one of the big things is, right, because we start off with Michael, Leo, and the other members of this team doing a race and it all going wrong. And it all going wrong essentially because of Michael, right? And he's pissed at Leo. This is the thing. Michael is pissed at Leo. But when you're watching the film, it's kind of like, yo, Leo wasn't in the wrong. Leo wasn't in the wrong. And you're pissed at a picture that was on social media, but that happened. That happened, and that was your fault. So I did kind of feel like there was no real proper acknowledgement from Michael that he fucked up. You know what I mean? That was the one thing I did find really odd. And there is a kind of talking about the matter, but it's not like it was Michael being like, yo, you know what? So I did find that all a little bit strange. Now, obviously, this is based on true events, so if it happened like that, it happened like that. But yeah, I kind of feel if I was Leo, more would have been said, you know what I mean? Around all of this and around Michael actually listening to advice. Because we still don't really see that in this film. Yeah, we do get these new team members. They're not really fleshed out, right? And especially Olivia. I mean, the meeting, it is funny because when we're introduced to these two new team members, it did feel a bit like Superman, is it Dawn of Justice, right? The one where the Super League, look, where he fights Batman at the end, right? And you meet Aquaman and Wonder Woman and the Flash, and that bit when he's sitting at that table with Wonder Woman's thing, and they're going through and being like, "Who's this?" Boom, boom, boom! It's Aquaman. Like it kind of felt like that moment when we're being introduced. This is Olivia. This is Chip, right? And we're being introduced to these new people. But the whole meeting with Olivia, I was like, hold on, it's not quick to scale a mountain. So what we doing here? Like that was all a bit random and odd. I thought anyway, from my rock climbing experience, but yeah, those characters not really fleshed out, really fleshed out, So all of this is interesting. And I think because, I kind of follow David Goggins, right? Who's carrying the boats? Ah, David motherfucking Goggins. You see this son of a bitch do these runs. It's crazy. It's crazy. So when you've seen him, you've seen like people like Cam Haines, right? You kind of know what it looks like when someone is pushing themselves to the extreme. And we don't really get that. We don't really get that vibe, that look. Also, when you're running those distances and you're doing all of that, you're not looking all Hollywood fresh, right? You're looking sweaty and messy, and we don't really get that. We don't really get that, and I think for something like this, it's the little details that can elevate it, and you just miss on those, right? The end, I mean, you kind of, what's going to happen, right? You figure all of it out. Some of the execute was like the whole hotel thing. It was just like, well, I mean, it's obvious why, right? If you're getting chased away from things, there's going to be a hesitancy, but just, and then in the airport, you're telling me you don't know how that's done, right? I've not done it myself, but I know what's done at a motherfucking airport. So the whole reaction was a little bizarre. It's a little bizarre, you know? But yeah, it's an okay film, right? It's an okay film. We have some interesting shots, cinematography's great, all of that kind of jazz it's fine, it's nice. It's just the story doesn't quite carry that same impact where you're just you're with it, right? You're with it. And I'm thinking of recent times, Young Woman in the Sea. You're with that journey, even though, I'm watching that film and I'm thinking some of these things clearly did not happen. You know what I mean? They've clearly added that, right? But even with all of that, it still carried that impact, right? That emotional connection. Arthur and the King doesn't quite reach that level. Doesn't quite reach that level, but it's still an okay film, right? It's still an okay film. Have it on. It's a distraction for a little bit. It's not going to change your world. I don't think you're going to be talking about it as much. It's an hour. It's just over an hour and 40 minutes, right? Which is all right. It's fine. I think probably The Family Plan is Simon's better film, right? But Arthur the King, it's not bad. It's not bad. I just think when you learn about the real events, Oof. That's where it gets real murky. That's where it gets real murky. And I got feeling Mikael Lindron on what homie did. You know what I mean? But that's another story. Anyway, After the King, I watched it on Prime. I imagine it is available on all your VODs. So yeah, if you want to watch a family film, a film about overcoming challenges, right? And making friends with the unlikeliest of companions, then maybe Arthur the King is for you.